So before we get to part 2 with this covering chapter 181, we're going to do a little bit of refining. I saw your guys' comments, and I agree. I was a little too harsh. It was like 1 a.m. when I recorded that, so maybe I didn't have the best thought process. So let's do a little bit of refining before we get to the review of chapter 181. So like I said, the retreads aren't necessarily a bad thing, but they are on the lower end compared to at least some of the good stuff that we got up here. So while not F tier, I do think they are on the lower. I think Usachan is actually a pretty fun one. So we might just throw her at the top of the siege. At least she was fun. Yeah, it's a retread, but it was more fun and interesting to read than a lot of these others. Kurumi was actually pretty good too. Some decent like character development. Or a continuation of her development. Let's do that. Maybe unfortunately, like, is probably the worst offender of the retread. So unfortunately we still got to keep her pretty low. It was fun, you know, seeing her lewd side, but that's about it. So just for that, let's just put her above Iku. I'm sorry, Iku is just like the bottom. But anyway, so we're now gonna move on to the chapter 181, and we're gonna add everyone else at the end. Oh, also someone did point out, apparently Kiki is not an idol, she is a songstress. Now, I am someone who doesn't know anything about the music industry, especially the Japanese music industry, so I don't know what the difference is, but I will correct myself that Kiki is not an idol. I went to the wiki page to see, and no, there's no mention of idol anywhere, so she's not an idol, she's a songstress, whatever the difference between those two things are. But yeah. So now let's move on to the actual review. Take it away, pre-recorded Moonlight. Back with the review, we are on to chapter 181, starting with Momiji and Momi's Rhythm. Momiji and Rentaro spend some time watching a movie on a teeny tiny little tablet screen, and we learn that Momiji is just a little hyper as she can't sit still during the whole thing. Eventually she cuddles up to Rentaro and repeats some of the movie lines as an invitation to make out. And then we learn that Momiji might be a bit of a movie buff, enough to at least consider what she just watched as top 3 of the year for her. Usually only people who watch a lot of movies say stuff like that. I should know, I'm one of them. Can we get more of movie buff Momiji? That'd be an interesting new trait for her character. Or anything for Momiji, please. She needs some character development. Back into Momoha's tent we go in sleeping over at her house, ? Rentaro has spent the day there and he's got to get going, but Momoha begs him to stay the night with not so secret lewd intentions. But unfortunately the drinking gets to her and she ends up just sleeping the night away with Rentaro comforting her. Cute exchange, but not exactly much of a date like the others have been. Though maybe the date was just them hanging out in her tent that we never saw? Curious. In A Girlfriend of Contrast, we have a nice stroll with Matsuri and Rentaro. He begins monologuing about the gap moe of how Matsuri tends to dress, with her overall personality being so different. Matsuri then requests some kissing and goes in for one, just solidifying what Rentaro was thinking about and how cute her contrasts are. No actual kiss though, so minus points for that. But plus points for the continuation of Matsuri wearing the most fascinating outfits. The battleship surprise attack has Rentaro and Ms. Naddy cuddling it up, with Rentaro once again being unprepared by the way she does things. But this time Rentaro decides to take the initiative and goes in for a kiss that catches Ms. Naddy off guard, to where she reverts to being a proper Japanese lady, which just flutters Rentaro all the same, so kind of a win-win, lose-lose situation, kind of. I don't know. I'm just looking for an interesting movie to share with my dear sister. It's not like this is a date or anything of the sort. Has finally given us for the first time since her introduction some alone time between Rentaro and Mai. They find themselves at a movie and she once again denies her feelings via a monologue until Rentaro once again reads his girlfriends perfectly and grabs her hand during the confession scene of the movie, which gives us our first time seeing Mai showing actual affection towards Rentaro without any Mei-related caveat. More of this please! Look at her melting! I need more! Rentaro and Sue have themselves a number battle between how cute and cool they think each other are, rattling off some giant numbers between one another before Sue gets so hot under the collar that she leaps onto Rentaro to make out. And honestly, this is the first time I've actually really liked Sue. She's not angrily pouting about not being interested in whatever's going on. It's just a girlfriend and boyfriend flirting with one another. She's earned a lot of personal points for me in this short scene. Let's hope this character development continues. Plus points for actually making me like Sue. Nano and Rentaro are chilling on a bench in My Beloved Curves and Dips. And Nano brings up the topic of what makes attractive people, well, attractive. Knowing she's aware but doesn't fully understand it. Saying she only sees people's faces as a pattern of curves and dips. but then goes into full flirtatious mode talking about the curves and dips of Rentorou's face, saying that they are much more her preference than the attractive people they show on television, where Nano continues until she goes in for a kiss and, "Look! Look! Nano showing emotion! We win! Best segment!" Rin and Rentaro are back at the arcade for a date, having a quick makeout session where Rentaro begins to wonder if it's a good thing for him to be her boyfriend because she's such a refined and proper young lady, and that he might not be worthy, only to be immediately reminded of her violent nature. I love this one personally because it's such a turn heel of a joke. Rentaro doesn't see the irony in what he's saying, and the punchline that follows with the narrator. So points for the only date with a setup and punchline, and just how blinded by love he is towards Rin's other side of her personality. Kishika's habit has us reflecting on her past that she is someone who is overly strict with herself. So when she feels safe, she lets loose and... oh my. Mei and Rentaro are out on a date looking for donuts, where Mei says she wants to go to the exhibit featuring the 100 girlfriends who really love you, where they end up battling it out and buying merchandise for one another. Subtle marketing tactic is subtle. Please someone fly me out there so I can visit this exhibit. In a thing of beauty, a gust of wind blows Mimi's skirt around, and we get a panty shot where Rentaro looks away in embarrassment. But to turn the trope on its head, instead of being upset that Rentaro might have seen something like in many other manga, Mimi is instead slightly miffed that Rentaro is looking away from her, which is slightly insulting because she works so hard to refine her whole body. Rentaro agrees that as a boyfriend, he should admire the work that she puts in. So as luck would have it, another gust of wind blows in, and this time, Rentaro goes in laser focused in admiring Mimi, to which they realize that Rentaro intensely staring at her panties just makes them both embarrassed. Naturally. Rentaro and Chiyo are having a picnic date in... Wait, am I allowed to say this on YouTube? I know we're already cutting it pretty close with the whole panty shot thing in the last segment. Are you sure? In Middle School Wife, Rentaro and Chiyo are having a nice picnic date. Rentaro admires the maturity Chiyo displays for her age, and saying things like, well, that. Chiyo then requests to be doted on a little, and then the doting happens. It's when doting is happening. And they cuddle with Rentaro admiring when she acts her own age, too. A great kindness has Rentaro and Yamame out in the neighborhood, where she falls over scared of a lit cigarette, to where Rentaro catches her but ends up hurting himself, taking the rock that she was going to fall on. Yamame then insists on carrying him to get him to first aid. He originally objects to being carried by his girlfriend, but then is taken in by Yamame's back saying it's warm and reassuring, and we actually see Rentaro get all lovey-smitten with a girlfriend instead of the other way around. Don't see that too often, so points for that. And lastly, we got Sniffa Snifferane, where Rentaro and Karane are back from an outing, and Rentaro excuses himself to go wash up. But Karane, being the massive closet pervert that she is, grabs a hold of Rentaro's worn clothes and takes a deep breath to get a love high. Embarrassed when Rentaro comes back, she shoves some of her clothes in his face so he can get the love high as well. And he got so high that apparently that the series needs to go on break week just to get down from that high. That is quite the high. Whew, 29 dates. That was quite a lot to go over. But now we're going to go back to Unscripted Moonlight with the final rankings. And we're back with part 2, gonna rank everything left in chapter 181. So I was doing some thinking while I was doing the editing, and we gotta knock up to maybe just a little bit more, because Akko's was just boring. That's the problem. At least, yes, Mimi's is a retread, but at least it was funny and it had a good joke behind it. So we'll knock up maybe just a little bit more. So now we'll go in order of chapter 181, which starts with Momiji. Where is she? Yeah, there she is. Momiji actually had a pretty solid showing here, because like I said in the review, we saw a side of her we haven't before, that she really likes movies, or at least possibly like a movie buff of some kind, so I'm actually going to put that kind of high here. Momoha, unfortunately, pretty lackluster chapter. It's just literally just her, yeah, we get some cool lewd faces, but she literally just says, stay over, and then she passes out, like that's the whole joke, so... yeah. It's like, it's better than Akko's because at least we got some cool lewd faces out of her, but that's about it. Matsuri. She had decent showing. It was a nice showing. Maybe somewhere like here in the seas somewhere. Pretty funny face, but this had like some nice character to it. Yeah, I'd say about right there. Probably just moving everything around. Ms. Naddy, unfortunately, had pretty weak showing as well. Better than, yeah, I'd say better than Momoha's at least. Yes, just like Momiji here, we got some good showing out of Mai, so let's actually put her pretty high. Not as good as Momiji, I think, here, but Mai's pretty good. Sue, once again. Okay, so here's the whole thing. Chapter 181 is just filled with the characters I don't like so much, and then giving them good showings. Where's Sue? There she is. Sue also had a really strong showing here. Like, maybe even better than... It might even be an A. Like, okay, you know what? I like that. I like her being at the bottom of A. It's like the first... Like I said, the first time I actually really liked Sue in this whole series. Nano. Oh, Nano is, like, top. She's got the better joke with the mom, but yeah, Nano, top tier. Top tier date. Top tier just moment in that whole scenario. Rin was pretty good. But it wasn't so much a character thing, but it was a good delivery and punchline using the narrator. So that was pretty good. Yeah, something like that. Then we're going to move on to... Oh, Kishika. Kishika is also awesome. It's pretty just one joke, though. That was a really good joke. No, I gotta leave these for like the actual good character change. So yeah. Let's go with that. I told you B was gonna be the fullest out of all of these. May was kind of disappointing. It was not even the fact that it was advertising, but it was just kind of just a one thing. Not as bad as these though. No, Hikaru actually had a pretty good punchline. Actually, I'm thinking about that. Punchline's probably better than Tama's punchline. She didn't even have a punchline. It was just kind of cute. Okay. Mimi had pretty decent. It went with the unexpected. So that was pretty good. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I think I do like the top of the C's because that's a retread. That's more retread. My cat is tangling himself into my phone cord. What are you doing? Don't do that. Okay, sorry about that. I had to rescue my cat from strangling himself in a bunch of wires. Okay, so where were we? We were on Me. So yeah, it wasn't that bad. Nice little turn trope, but it wasn't that interesting. It's like we're leaving these characters for like nice character moments, and it's almost how I'm dividing it here. And then we move on to Chiyo. Oops, sorry. Chiyo, it was okay. It was cute, but it was nothing amazing. So yeah, let's throw it there too. Yamame, I actually really like Yamame's one, especially because this is like the first one that shows Rentaro like being lovey-dovey with the girlfriend instead of the girlfriend being lovey-dovey. So I don't, yeah, put bottom in like bottom of A. Stick with that. Then we have Karane. Karane was okay. As much as I love Karane, the date was okay, or the moment was okay. It's kind of funny, so it has like some funny moments. Oh, wait, I'm not moving. All right, there we go. Better than that. Probably not better than these, because these had like good character moments. Yeah. I'm gonna just throw these two down here. It's not a real F tier, guys. Don't worry. I'm not putting them in F tier. They're just there just to fill it out. So yeah, let's go over these real quick. Yeah, these are pretty good. Enjoyable, good character moments. Then you get down to like here, and it's like it's okay. The story, the character. I guess we could put Chiyo just a little bit higher. I feel so weird about Thomas. I don't know why. That was good. Yeah. Nah. Yeah. Okay, let's go with that. It was alright. Actually, you know what? Just because of the maybe down girl, I'm gonna put that a little bit higher. Poor Yaku's just fallen. Yeah, I think, okay, you know what? I think I'm happy with this. Alright, so yeah, we got our top contenders. We had Himika, we had Chizuka, we had Nano, who's always topping the leaderboards. And some other high ones with Meru, Uto, Su, Yamame. It's actually really interesting. A lot of the characters that I'm like, yo, we need some more development or need something better. Like, they got some good ones out of this. Like, look, Mai and Momiji are even up here. And you got some obvious winners, like the Kishika and Rin and Nano and Chizuka. Okay, I think I'm liking this listing so far. Yeah. Is Iku really the worst? No, I mean, the character is great. I love Iku, but the date setup that they did here was just not that great of a chapter. But yeah, I think that is it. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. How would you rank it? Which one was your favorite out of these two chapters? And then we'll be on break week, and I'm going to let pre-recorded Moonlight do the outro. Take it away. And there you have it. Another daily life chapter montage completed, rankings and all. But remember, this is all just my personal opinion, and
the points don't matter, yeah?
Now that it's on break week, I'm going to go full editing mode on the time calculation video. Look forward to that next week. The script is even longer than this one, so make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to be notified when that goes live. And I will see you guys on the next video.